JC, it's Ron. Thanks for stopping by. Got a pretty good pile of vinyl to show today. Everything's going to range from the year 1967 up to 1971. And have some psych and some early hard rock. And I made a small little find at the record store. Like, I think there was 5 pieces, and they all came from, obviously came from the same collection. There was more stuff, but I already had everything, so, but you know, you're always happy with what you can find, right? So what's on the turntable right now, it's a rare track by the band Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark. This is a 1980 UK 45, and I just recently picked this up. The A-side is Red Flame, White Light, which sounds like a nod to the Velvet Underground to me. And then the track that's playing right now is called I Betrayed My Friends, which is really cool, sort of neo-psych, basically instrumental, but it has a little bit of vocal thrown in. So yeah, I really like their early stuff, very, very cool. Okay, let's get started. I got an older mainstream reissue for the Tiffany Shade, 1967 Psych LP. These guys came out of Cleveland, Ohio, and this is a 180 gram pressing, black vinyl, and I think it probably came out around 2008 or so, was when a lot of these came out. You know, they were the ones that had the shiny metallic sticker on the front that said 180 gram. Now when I first saw those back then, I thought they were unauthorized, but it's quite possibly they're not, because they're still on Discogs. They've never been pulled, so interesting. Yeah, really good album. Sort of garagey psych. Really likable, enjoyable album. One of the better ones on the mainstream label. And they do a cover of Love's Come Softly to Me, which they have an erroneous title listing on the album cover that says Come Softly to Me, which was a hit by the Fleetwoods in 1959. And that is definitely the song they're referring to, because it has the corresponding writer's credits with that. So that's pretty bizarre. I guess the band was pretty upset about it. I read a comment about it that the band was not happy. I wouldn't be happy either. And it's odd that even, you know, after all these years, the reissue never even got corrected. Okay. This next one, it's a San Francisco heavy rock band. Definitely got some blue cheer influence going on here. Very cool, nicely produced, raw and heavy. Excellent album through and through. I really like this. Come out in '68 on the Dot label. And this band only had 2 albums, and this is the better one of the 2. I upgraded my copy. You know, usually you see these, they have a really, you know, worn cover, but I got a nice copy, and yeah, this was out of that pile that I was talking about. So very pleased with that. Okay, here's another heavy rock album, and it's the second album by the UK band Gun Sight, and this came out in 1971. Really good album. I think it would have been a lot better if it had rocked more than it does. I mean, it's got some great heavy hard rock songs on it, but it's also balanced out with a lot of lighter songs. So I think if it had more heavier rock sound on most of the tracks, it would have been much better. But really cool album, and it was released in the U.S. on the Yellow Epic label. The next one I got, I had a German OG of this, and I got for $15, I got a really nice clean German OG with the poster, which the poster is exclusive only to German copies, and I didn't have that. So I definitely didn't hesitate to get this. It's Uriah Heep, Look at Yourself, with the Mylar mirrored cover. The Mylar is in like great shape. There's hardly any wear. So that's a rare find. And it is on the pink rim Island label. 1971. One of their better albums. It rocks. Awesome. And I'll show you the poster. You know, this poster does have some, or this album cover does have some variance in the design of it. Like in the US, we got a way different cover from that. It's got male eyes. That one's got female eyes. So the poster has female eyes as well. And it has the lyrics on the back of the poster. Okay, the next one is the Apple Pie Motherhood Band. And the name of the album is Apple Pie. Now I have their first album, which is pretty good. And this one's more hard rocking. Really, really cool. They stepped up their game on this one, I think. And it's probably the better of the two, I would say. So yeah, it's you know, they did do some blues rock, but this is a little more straight ahead rock. Really cool. They there is a couple of versions, or a couple of cover versions on this. It starts off with the heavy orangutan, and then it goes into I Just Want to Make Love to You, the Willie Dixon song. Sounds a little bit different than how Foghat would do their rendition of it. It's good. And then they, for kind of an odd one, they did Chuck Berry's Brown-Eyed Handsome Man, and that's kind of a hard rocking version of that. But yeah, this is just good stuff, man. Come out in 69, and they were out of Boston. And it's on the Atlantic label. So cool. So they only had 2 albums, and I have them both now. This next one, this is another second album by a band. The name of the band is People, Both Sides of People. Come out in 1969 on the Capitol label. And these guys were from California. Black Rainbow label, really good. I love the album cover concept where there's 2 photographers. There's a photographer taking a picture of the band in the front, and then there's another photographer taking the picture of the band in the back, and you can see both photographers in the shots. But they really should have done the back cover in color too. I think that would have, yeah, it would have cost more, but it would just been way, way better. So yeah, this is a good album. By the time that this album was out, you know, Larry Norman had left the band. He's not on this album. I think it's better than their first album, and so yeah, it's good stuff, man. So really happy to get this one. People, Both Sides of People. Okay, here's another hard rock album, and it's a Canadian band by the name Bush, and this is their only album. Good hard rocking album. It's not real super hard and heavy, but it's good stuff. 1970. And it came out on the ABC Dunhill label. And yeah, I dig it. It's cool. It's you know, it's not real expensive, and for the price of the ticket, very enjoyable. Yeah, I guess, you know, when the 90s alternative band Bush came out, they got, you know, a lawsuit because of these guys. And I guess it did go to court, from if I remember reading correctly. And they weren't real money hungry. So what they did was, they said, yeah, you can use the name Bush, but each band member of your band has to donate $20,000 to our charity. So evidently that's what they did, and they were able to use the name Bush. So yeah, it's a good one. Check it out. I mean, it's not essential, but it's very enjoyable. Okay, this next one is Fever Tree. This is their final album from 1970. I did not have this one. And I always assumed that it was kind of like older material that they had recorded pre-uni. That's sort of true, but not for the whole album. It's got a couple of tracks that were on the mainstream singles. But it's on the Ampex label. Yeah, it's not a terrible album, but it is disappointing a little bit. It's got some covers on it, and you know, they were just kind of grasping at their last final try, you know, and it's okay, but definitely not their best work. Okay, this is another album that was out of that haul that I got, and it's an upgrade for Freak Out USA 1967 compilation on the Sidewalk label. And I did get a mono copy, which is what you want, because if you get stereo, it's fake stereo. See, these were all like rare tracks from most bands that would not go on to record any kind of an album. Except for the Glass Family track, I'm Losing It, which is sort of a garage rock song. And so that's before they got their record deal with Warner Brothers. It's a good track. Probably the highlight of this whole album is Yellow Pill by the Mom's Boys. And this album does have a cover version of Season of the Witch by the Mugwumps. And you'll find those guys on various albums, you know, soundtracks and comps and stuff like that. And they did some 45s too. And they're also not as the Mugwump establishment. But yeah, really good album, and glad to get it. Not expensive. That's a good one to look into. Okay, another one that I got from that pile is the second album by Mount Rushmore. Mount Rushmore 69. And this is a good album. It rocks. Definitely not as good as their first album. It has its moments, that's for sure. There's one long blues jam on it that, you know, hurts it. It's, you know, it just seems like most of the time when they do a blues rock song on these types of albums, it just doesn't fly very well, unless it's more progressive. But yeah, it's a good album, definitely well worth checking into. I like it. And this is another one that it's on the Dot label. And here's another one that's on Dot. So we got all kinds of Dot going on today. And this is the second album by Womb, Overdub. And these guys were out of San Francisco. Really fine, excellent band. Their first album, self-titled debut, rates higher than this one. but I think I like this one more. The first one's got some like soul and more jazz influence on it than this one does. Just got a little teeny little dab of jazz, you know, a little bit of horn coming in, but for the most part they abandoned that. I really like this album. Yeah, like I said, it doesn't rate as high as the first one, but I like this one, I think, better. And it's got male-female vocal, really good. They reused the custom label that's on their debut album, and the egg, the female egg, so that's kind of cool. I think a better title for the band, or the name of the album would have been, instead of Overdub, they should have called it Conception by Womb. I think it works better. But there they are in front of their hearse. I guess they used to, you know, load up all their equipment in that hearse, like a lot of bands did back in that day. So yeah, nice, clean. All those albums that I got out of that little pile were like all really clean. And this one was probably the best one of the bunch. And I've been looking for this one for a while, and I didn't think I'd ever find a nice copy in the bins, but I finally found a copy, and it's nice. So it's the only album by Quill, and this is just a really excellent Psych album. It's late Psych. It came out, the album itself came out in 1970, but they got signed to Atlantic in '69. So by the time they made it to Woodstock, they did appear in Woodstock. They were the first band to start Saturday, and they came on stage about noon. And it had rained all the day before. So the weather finally let up, and Quill hit the stage as the first band of the day, and following Quill was Santana. They were recorded, but due to a glitch in the filming of the band, their vocals, the music was out of sync with the visual part of the movie, of the film. So I don't know if they couldn't really correct it back then, but with today's technology, they could probably do something to fix that. So that would be great. They played for at least a half an hour plus, so that would be great to see their set. Yeah, really good album, mainly more like soft, easy listening Psych. It's kind of that late Psych into the prog sound. And the final track, Shrinking Finally, has got that more heavier sound to it. Probably the standout track on the whole album is Yellow Butterfly, which is just top-notch, easy listening, soft psychedelia. So, yeah, really cool, man. Quill. And the final one I got is a reissue, which kind of makes that an OG sandwich. I started off with a reissue, and I'm closing the video with a reissue. So it's an OG sandwich. God, I'm creative. So I finally got Maggot Brain by Funkadelic. Now, this is not an OG. I don't really have any desire to fork out a lot of money on an original, so this one's just fine for me. It's a 2008 Four Men with Beards. Now, this is the first album that I've ever had on Four Men with Beards. I've heard good things about that label, and I've heard bad things about that label. This appears to be a really good pressing. And there's comments on Discogs that backs me up on that. I did spin it, give it a good spin on my Crosley to clean up the surface noise, and I did see an improvement. It plays very well, sounds really nice, and so I'm pretty happy with it. So I believe I got this for 30 bucks, which is clean. So I'm pretty happy. It's got a nice gatefold tip-on cover. So yeah, cool, and goes with my shirt, huh? All right, that's gonna do it for this video. Hope you enjoyed seeing those. And I do have more to show, but those will be coming up later on. Always like to hold some stuff back and kind of put together a video that kind of fits well as a whole. So that's what I always try and do. So I don't always show everything that I get immediately. I hold stuff back, you know, because I want to present a nice video that way. So everybody take care, and I shall see you in the future. Have a good one. Later.